Hey guys, I'm waiting to be put into the group with Grace Creations. Sitting here watching Jessica finish up, and I forgot. Oh, I haven't hit the go live button yet. So here I am. Give me. Oh, it's okay. Let me see if they've got me in because I was late to. Oh, hold on. Let's hit refresh. Hey, Connie. Hi, Nancy. How are y'all? Come on in. Come on in. I'm Julie with Nothing is Wasted Designs. Hey, Berta. How are you, girl? Good to see you. I hope y'all are having a good day today. Let's see. Connie. Hey, Connie. Come on in. Come on in, y'all. We are going to do a Chalk Couture project. It's like silk screening. All right, let me see if I can get this to come up. I have not figured out. All right, hang on. Grace Creations. There we go. I don't know. For some reason, I haven't figured out how to refresh the page to get myself to come up. But I'm going to go ahead and mute this so that I don't hear any sound. I'm going to be working with a Chalk Couture stencil today. Hey, Cindy, come on in. Hey, Lindell. Jessica, that was a cute project that you did. They adorable, as always. So I'm going to work on a pillowcase cover today, and hoping that this turns out. And you know, I got to thinking, it seems like lately I'm always picking these two colors, green and pink. I am not going to put a pillow in my house, but, you know, when you think about the colors of a hibiscus, they've got the pretty reds, the pinks, the yellows, and the pink mixed together. And so I thought, well, I was going to go with the pink and green, and then it dawned on me, I don't have anything in my living room that this is going to match with. So it will be up for grabs if anybody decides that they want it. All right, so this color here is called Dream Car. And this color here is a color of the month with Chalk Couture. Hey, Deborah, come on in, come on in. Hey, Barbara, so glad y'all can be here with me. This is called Ever After, and it has a almost like a sheen look to it. It's not a metallic, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if those of you who were on my page, I don't know if you remember when I did a kitchen towel with this. It is absolutely stunning. So what I'm going to do is, you know what? I better put the lids on these until I actually get everything on here, because I am notorious for getting ink in spots where I don't want them to go, and then I have to come up with a creative solution to make sure that I can cover up my mistakes. All right, this is a Chalk Couture 18 by 18 inch stencil. It's one of the big ones, not the biggest, but one of their biggest, one of their bigger stencils. And it's like do-it-yourself silk screening. Everywhere where you see white is where you're going to be able to put your color of, or your choice of ink. And the ink is good for, let's see, it's backwards, but it's right side up there. There you go. And anyway, what the ink does is it goes through the top side of this, out through the bottom, and onto the fabric. And I am going to be working with also a Chalk Couture pillowcase. This is the pillowcase. It is 17.5 inches, I believe. It is 17, I think this is 17.5 inches by 17.5 inches. But that doesn't make sense, because then that wouldn't Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, because it gives you a border. The other thing I'm going to be working with is a Chalk Couture ink mat. And what the ink mat does is it's stiff and it's sticky, okay? It's stiff and it's sticky. Hey, Amy, how are you? Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. Coming up after me is going to be Shantae with Country Creekside Creations. So make sure after I'm finished that you refresh your page. We are in the Grace Creations group, and thank you Grace Creations for having me. All right, this is the first time I've used this, and you can see it has a protective cover on it. And so it's kind of loud. Let me see. Oops, see how sticky it is? Oh my goodness. It is like really sticky. So hang on just a minute. I'm going to get this out of the way. I hate those things that crinkle because I know they come up on they come through the microphone really, really loud. All right, so this is the sticky mat, and what it does is it keeps your fabric, like if you're doing an apron or a tea towel or any kind of fabric, it will keep your fabric nice and taut, and it will also make it so that it's stiff. So let me, I'm going to open up my pillowcase. So this is a 17.5 by 17.5 inch pillowcase. It has a what we used to call an invisible zipper. So you can, we're going to open this up, and I have ironed this. You don't have to iron it. They come in packages of 2. And this is a really, really kind of a heavyweight fabric. So it's a real nice fabric. Hey, Sherry, come on in. Sherry with an I. And Shantae, I'm working on getting mine right. I hear you. I was up to the last minute too. But I went to bed last night and I thought, this is what I'm going to do. And then I changed my mind about 4 or 5 times. And I thought, no, I'm going to go back with what I started with. And then we'll go from there. All right, so let me see if I can point this back just a little bit so that y'all can see what I'm going to do here. So this is going to be like, I'm going to do like a taco with this. I'm going to fold this and stick it in here. Fold it like a taco. I'm going to get it up to the edge. And then I'm hoping that it's going to lay flat for me. It's not going to look like I'm wrestling an alligator or anything. All right, and now what I'm going to do is, okay, you see how that went in there? Nice and easy. Fold it like a taco. Now I'm going to lift this up, and I want to make sure that I get all the crinkles, all the wrinkles, and any bubbles out of this. And I find that it's easier to do that if you go from kind of the top down. And then as you see a crinkle or a wrinkle, just lift this up. Okay, lift it up. And you know what? I think I'm going to zip this back up. I think I'm going to zip it back up so that I know where that is going. All right, to this. Okay, that looks good. All right, so this is what we have. You see how stiff this is? This is what we want. Thanks, Berta, for sprinkling. I hope y'all are having a great day. It is early for me. I am a night owl, and I know it's 2:30 Eastern Daylight Time, but I don't do early very well. So I like to have, you know, a couple of hours to get ready for my projects, and so I have to start way early than when I come on. All right, so here is our stencil, and I want to make sure that I have the orientation in the orientation that I want it, and it looks like it is. There is at the bottom of the Chalk Couture stencils it'll tell you right down here in the corner. I don't know how well y'all can read that, but all you need to know is there will be information at the bottom of the stencil. Sometimes it'll be on the side. Hey, Molly. But for the most part, the name of the stencil, when it was created, the number, the pattern number, all of that information is going to be down there. So that if you can't figure out which side is up and which side is down, look for that information. All right, working with these big stencils. It looked like I wrestled with an alligator the first time that I used these, and but the best way to get this large stencil, because it's going to be floppy once I get it off this back sheet. So the best way to work with this is to get it started, okay? And I usually take my finger and go at about a 45-degree angle, and then I get it started. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over so that the back sheet is on the top. All right, so here we go. So we're going to flip this over, and because I already have an edge that's started, I can pull this. Let me bring this over. I can pull this and hold down the stencil and lift up the back sheet, and voila. All right, let me get this out of my way. Come on. And the idea is not to let the sticky part grab a hold to any other sticky part, because if it does, then you're going to have a tangled up mess. So, and if that happens, then you want to just gently try and separate the parts that are stuck together. Let's say that you have a really jumbled up mess, which I have done when I first started. If you have a really jumbled up mess, then what I recommend is you take it to your kitchen sink or a bathtub or somewhere where you can get some water on it, because as soon as you get water on the adhesive part of this, it's no longer sticky. And that makes it easier. You want to very, very gently pull it apart so that you don't damage your stencil. All right, so we've got this upside down. We want to put it on our pillowcase. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to flip this back over, and I have it right side up, and I want to put this into place on my pillowcase. Okay, and so I'm going to line up the edges. There is an edge too, and I'll show you in just a minute. I'm gonna put just a little bit. All right, I can't talk and think at the same time on this one. So I'm gonna put this right near the edge, not over the edge. And you see how there's like a little bit of a wrinkle here? I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I'm gonna lift this up and let it fall. All right, and it's not quite straight, so I'm going to make it so that it's straight. And it really is, this is a lot of fun, the Chalk Couture stencils. I am a designer with Chalk Couture, so I do sell these in my shop. But this is how I got interested in the crafting world. Was I saw somebody doing Chalk Couture on Facebook, and I thought, well, that looks like fun. I love to learn new things, so I thought, well, let me give this a try. And then I found out if I became a designer, I could have a 40% discount, so that was intriguing. And so I thought, well, if I can save 40%, then why not? And so that was kind of how I got started. Now Chalk Couture has a program that's called a Perks program, and you can save 30% and not be a designer, not have to worry about selling or anything. But I'm not trying to sell y'all, I'm just giving you some information. All right, so here we go. So I am just gonna take and push this down. once I got into Chalk Couture, I decided that I wanted to learn other types of crafting things, and God has just taken me and taught me all kinds of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. I've recently been learning how to paint, which I have never done. I'm a former public school math teacher. I taught junior high math for a little over 8 years, and then God called me to be a stay-at-home mom. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to turn this around just so that I can get a nice sharp edge. This is kind of, all right, maybe I don't want to zip this. All right, hold on a minute, y'all, while I figure this out. Maybe I don't want it zipped. Let me decide here, because I'm getting you want to be really, really careful. I got such a little space here, too. You want to be really, really careful. I'll probably come down here and do this side first, just because I want to make sure I get that edge really well. All right, and this one, it looks like I can push this out. You don't want any bumps or lumps. All right, so that's good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do this backwards for me and from the bottom up for y'all, because I think that's going to be, and then I'm going to have to turn it around. All right, so here we go. I'm going to work with the Dream Car, which is pink. And let me show y'all that. It is so, so pretty. And then I'm going to also work with Ever After ink. And you want to use the inks on your fabric so that it'll actually just kind of drink into this. And see, I'm concerned about this part right here. So where I'm the most concerned, I'm going to actually do that part. I'm going to do these parts first, because I will be able to kind of press this down. I'm wondering if I can pull this zipper out some. That's better. All right, so there you go. So there's a hint. If you're going to get one of these, yeah, that's going to give me a flatter edge, and that's what I need. So I'm going to do the leaves in green, the flowers in pink, and then I'm going to do the pollen where I can, I'm going to do in yellow. And then the stamens, I think I want to do in red, just because the center of this is going to be a little bit darker, because the center of the flowers are a little bit darker. And we're going to see where this goes. Okay, so I've got this corner here. These are the areas that I'm concerned with, because I'm not getting a completely flat edge. So why am I saying all of this? Because if you are new to working with these, I would recommend that you get something smaller first, but you can work up to this with no trouble at all. All right, so this is a flower. This is a flower. I think that's a flower. Nope, that might be a leaf. That's a leaf. All right, I'm going to do this part right here, because this is the part that looks like it's going to give me the most trouble. So here I go, y'all. Let's see. I'm going to actually, it's not sticking down the way I want it, but here we go. Ugh. I'm going to go towards the edge so that I can push this down and kind of get it so that it's flat without getting any bleeding. So we're going to see how this goes. Just taking my time. Trying not to get it off of the stencil. All right, and here we go. So now I'm not so concerned anymore. And I'm going to just come in here and come over this with this ink. All right, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to come back down to this part over here. Make sure y'all can see me. And again, I'm going to push this towards the edge, hoping that I do not get any bleeding under this. Now, if I do get bleeding under this, you know what I would do the next time is I would actually cut that edge off, and that way I wouldn't have to worry about it going right to that edge. All right, here we go. Just going, taking my time here because I am concerned about that edge. All right, that's going to be a leaf, so I'm going to come back with green with those. So I'm still in the pink area. And I am, oops, I thought I was going to do these in red. Maybe I'm not doing the stamens in red. Maybe I'm doing them in pink. All right, and just taking my squeegee, trying not to go into the leaf. So I'm going to turn my squeegee around. And then I'm going to come over here. And I'm just going to kind of work back and forth, back and forth. And once I get more towards the middle, I'm going to end up with, all right. I'm going to start using a bigger squeegee. And just taking a little bit. And when you get to those edges, go towards the outside of the edge so that you don't push any of that ink underneath your project. All right, I really want to do, all right, so I've got another tool here, so hang on. And I'm going to take, I really want to get some yellow in here. So I'm going to take this tool and get a little bit of yellow. And just like you would with anything else, you're going to take and, you know, add your color wherever you want it. All right, let me wipe this off. I think I'm going to try going in here with a little bit of red so that the center of this has a little bit of red, and I'm going to mix it because there's going to be less light there, right? Okay, and then I'm going to take a bigger squeegee, making sure that I get all the areas covered where I want them to be covered. And then at some point here real soon, I'm going to start lifting this up so that, boy, this is going to require more thinking on my part than I thought it was. All right, just kind of taking that red and making sure, boy, this is going to take longer than I thought. All right, so now I want to go and I'm going to hit these green. I'm going to go back and forth with colors. I know I'm sounding like sporadic, but this is kind of like what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm going to take my green squeegee and this amazing Ever After color, and I'm going to do these leaves, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of hold this stencil down on the, once I get in the middle, it's going to be a lot easier. And normally I would work with more than one color of like green or more than one color of pink, but these colors are so pretty, and I just thought, well, I'm just going to go with the plain colors. And the reason why I work with more than one color is because, hey Lisa, hey Debbie, is because you get more dimension that way. All right, so we have this. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to come back. I see a little bit of pink over here that could be a little bit more saturated. All right, and now I'm going to come and I'm going to do this color here, but before I do this flower, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to come in here with the yellow because I want to get the pollen. I want the pollen to be yellow on this. You know, we don't have to know everything. When we get ready to, I mean, y'all know this, but like I said, I'm new to this kind of, this part of the arena of crafting. So I had to learn things like it's okay not to know everything, that I could, all right, and I want red in here. I can look online and see what does a hibiscus look like. And then I can know for sure how I want the things to look. And so that's what I did. I looked online to see what a hibiscus looks like. And I thought this is what, but what I hadn't realized is that all right, I'm going to get a little bit of pink on here and kind of mix it in. I forgot what I was going to say. I had thought that I knew what one looked like, but I didn't realize that the stamen is the same color as the flower. So go in there with your colors, do your research, and then it makes the project that much easier. All right, so I'm going to just kind of go over this with a bigger squeegee because I have more space to work. Go into that edge there. I want to be careful of this leaf. I don't want to color the leaf green, pink, which I have been known to do. And now you can see it's getting a little bit easier because I have more space that I'm working with. Oops, I almost got that leaf pretty close. All right, this has got a bubble in it. It's not going to play well. All right, so I'm going to come over here to, and the way you can tell if you have a bubble is you will see a reflection. You'll see a reflection of the silk screening area. So you just want to be careful to lift that up and make sure that you flatten it out. All right, let me move these over to the side and move this up so that I can get a good flat edge. And again, I'm going to just lift this up. Oh my gosh, y'all, this is gorgeous. All right, here we go. Let me get my squeegee, and I'm going to come over here to the edge and go into the center of the design so that I don't go into the color of the leaves. All right, let me see. I'm going to lift this up. I intentionally didn't get that spot there. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at this. Is that not gorgeous? I want the ink to kind of release itself onto the pillowcase. All right, so now I'm going to come in here with this green, and I'm going to use a bigger squeegee because it's a good amount of surface area. The bigger the surface area, the bigger the squeegee you're going to want to use. Okay, all right, so there we have that. I've got these leaves over here, so I'm going to go ahead and get these. The size squeegee that I'm using right now, this is a small. The other one that I used was a mini. And then the tool that I used is called a multi-tool. And it does exactly what it says. It does multiple jobs. All right, so there we go. So we've got that. I've got a leaf over here that I want, a part of the leaf over here that I want to grab. So I'm going to take and grab this from the inside to the outside so that it pushes any air out. Okay, there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and get this guy next. I'm going to grab this yellow and see if I can. What's the best way for me to do this? Okay, I'm going to do this yellow here. Getting the pollen. This takes a lot more thinking than I thought it was going to take. All right, we've got that. And now I'm going to take and wipe this off, and I'm going to do the red stamen, or the stamen in red. I'm going to actually mix these two a little bit because I don't want it a stark red, but I do want it to have, all right, and then I'm going to, and just like anything else, you can mix and match your paste and your ink colors. Just don't get it all over yourself, like I do. All right, here we go. We're going to come in here, and I'm going to go, I like to push the flower out from the center, or whatever my design is, and then when I get to the edge, I'll bring it back into the center. All right, let's see what I got, what its neighbor is. Making sure that I don't go into the green leaves. Now, once I get finished with the ink, then what I'm going to do next is I am going to heat set this, and that will make this permanent. This will be able to go through the washer and dryer without any trouble at all. Now, if y'all pay attention, you'll see me flip my squeegee back and forth in different directions so that I can get the best push on this. And then I want to take up any excess paste or ink. All right, and it looks like this one over here is going to be just a little teeny tiny bit of red on the stamen. And the pollen is from a different direction, so I'm not going to really be able to do anything with that. All right, here we go. We're going to go in here with this. And I'm going to go right over that area with the red to kind of soften that red a little bit. Y'all wait till I take this up. It is really going to be pretty. And it's fun. But, you know, just like any other new craft, there's a learning curve to it. But it's not an impossible learning curve. All right, let me put that there. I'm going to grab my green. And I'm going to do some of these leaves here. And I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to actually turn this so that I can keep it on a flat surface. All right, so here we go with our leaves. I'm going to push this to the edge so that I make sure that my stencil is flat up against this. Because if I go this way, it's going to lift that stencil up. So I don't want that. So this is why I'm going towards the edge. This color is absolutely stunning. All right. We got that. I'm going to come in here with this leaf here. Now you are working a little bit against the clock because you don't want your ink to dry in your silkscreen area. But the ink does take a little bit longer to dry, so that is in your favor. Okay. That's green. Then I've got this green over here. This is pink. So I'm going to come back over here. Where's my green lid? There it is. going to come back over here and get my pink. And again, I'm going to go to the outside edge. Okay, and now I've got this pink. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. I don't have any of the stamens or the pollen or anything, so I'm just going to go straight off the edge here. How am I doing on time? All right, I'm going to look up in just a minute and see if y'all have any questions. I'm kind of working against the clock, so trying to get this. Okay. All right, I've got 2 more to go. You want to make sure that you don't have any ink on your hands when you start moving things around. All right, here we go, y'all. I'm going to come down this way, and then I'm going to flip my, this is a leaf, so I want that to be a leaf. And I'm going to go off the edge here. Same thing, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go off the edge. And I'm going to take and get a little bit of red here and do the stamen. And wipe that off. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get this pollen. I'm going to hit that with some yellow. Okay, and it's just a matter of practicing and practicing. What did I practice with? I practiced with one color when I started, and then you just kind of work from there. All right, here we go. We're going to get this edge of the flower, and I'm going to kind of drag some of that red a little bit in here in the center, because the center is going to be darker. Okay, and I'm going to put that down, and then I'm going to come back with the green. All right, let me get these last couple of leaves, and then we're going to lift this up. Actually, I'm going to lift it up. Oh my gosh, y'all, this is gorgeous. All right, here we go. There was a bubble in it, so I wanted to get the bubble out. It would be better if you had a bigger space to work with. I have a small crafting space, but if you could keep this flat the whole time, that would be the best. But I don't have as large of a space as I need to do this, so that's why I'm having to turn it and everything else. All right, here we go. Gonna do this green leaf here, and then we're gonna lift this up and see what we got. All right, y'all, hang tight. All right, here we go. I'm gonna lift this up. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, hang on, let me get this in some water. Wow, wow, wow. How am I doing on time? 2:53. And I got stuff on my arm and everything else. Okay. Oops, I missed those spots there. I can come back with a paintbrush. I think I'm going to come back with a paintbrush because I want to get those in. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this. All right. Let me show you all what we have here. Making sure that my hands are clean. Let me get something to wipe my hands with. Because once you get the ink on this fabric, it's not going to come out of here. All right, let me get my hands clean. All right, look at this, y'all. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. So we started with a white pillowcase. All right, let me put this stuff away. The only thing I'm going to need out is the yellow. I'm going to put these squeegees in some water. And this is going to free up some space so that I have more space to work in here. Okay. I kind of buried that one, but it's going to go in some water. And I learned the hard way, don't fix anything over top of your project, because if you drop it on there, it doesn't turn out so good. All right, hang on, let me get my hands clean again. Wow, this is absolutely stunning, y'all. Now, you don't have to use the entire stencil. Let's just say that you have a round and, you know, say a 16-inch round. Then you could just do the section where the round is gonna be. I had actually thought of doing this on a round and then putting like Hello Summer or something like that on there. I thought that would be a lot of fun. But I've been wanting to do this pillowcase, so the pillowcase won out. And all right, let me get a. I'm gonna get a. Let me get a small paintbrush. Actually, I'm gonna get this thing here. This is a Chalk Couture tool, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here. See, this is still wet. Let me dry this before I do this, because I don't want to stick my hands on it. All right, here we go. So what do y'all think? I have to, I need to see if I can see any comments now. Yep. I lost me. Okay, there we go. I'm still learning the ropes of this, so just bear with me. Comments. Not seeing comments. I can see them on my phone, but I can't read them. They're too far away. So while I'm drying this, y'all make sure that you, if you're not following Grace Creations, that you hit the follow button so that you'll get the notifications when the crafters go live. Wow, this is so pretty. This green is probably my favorite green that Chalk Couture has. And it's a color of the month. Today is the last day to get it. But it's got a like a sheen to it. It's not like glitter, but it's like a luster. All right, so let me get this on here. Now, after I do this, let's see what I come on. Oh, I got 2 minutes. 2:15 to 2:58. All right, I may have to tell y'all what I have to do next. All right, I don't think I'm going to have time to. So, after I get this dry, I'll put a Cricut heat press on it at 305 degrees for 30 seconds in each section. If your design is small enough, you can do, you know, just do it on, just put your Cricut heat press for 30 seconds and then flip it over and do the back side. But you want to heat set each section. And then after you at 305 degrees for 30 seconds. And then after you do that, you want to turn your project inside out, and then you're going to heat set it on the back side of it in every section for 30 seconds at 305 degrees. And then after you have done that, after you have heat set it, then all you have to do is use it, you know, stuff it with a pillow insert, and then it'll be ready, and you can throw it in the washer and dryer. It won't fade. I've had really, really good luck with the things that I have inked with Chalk Couture. All right, it is 3 o'clock. Shantae with Creekside Creations is up next. If y'all will hit the refresh button so that you can go watch her. Thanks for joining me, Grace Creations. Thanks for having me. Y'all have a great afternoon. I will be live again on Monday, and I hope that you'll come over and follow my page and join me. All right. Thanks a lot. I love y'all, and Jesus loves you more. All right. Bye-bye. I'm going to pull this forward so that I can reach it. You see all my stuff? All right. Bye, y'all. Thanks for watching.